Hello Intuitors, it's Aria here. Welcome back to the Intuit Cafe, or as I have renamed it, the Intuit Oracle. I am really excited to bring you another week's worth of readings by sign of the zodiac. I'll be diving right into that in a moment. This will be the same introduction on every video, so if you watch or cross-watch for your moon or rising or Venus signs, or for maybe that partner's sign, you can go ahead and skip forward to the start of the reading. And I just wanted to give a little bit of an update about what's going on with the cards. In case you're new to the channel, the project I just completed, creating my own set of Oracle cards, which really is kind of a intermediate step in the process of my ultimate goal, which truly is to be bringing to everyone some kind of useful tools and ways that they can utilize to tap into their own intuition. And of course, Oracle cards are a really good way to do that with what you can feel inside of you the cards are trying to say to you, when it's not the cards actually, it's your higher self. You're tapping into your higher knowing and the knowing of your higher mind. But the thing and the reason that I believe cards as an intuitive tool works is because all they're doing is they're tricking our conscious mind into kind of taking a back seat and not imposing on our consciousness, on our conscious thought, what it thinks. Because our conscious mind, which I call the planetary mind, it's filled with all kinds of programming and preconceived ideas, and it is not tapped into that higher knowing. And if we want to deliberately tap into our higher knowing, we have to transcend the planetary mind, the ego mind, whatever you want to call it. And the cards are a way of helping us do that, or any kind of intuitive tool actually is a way of helping us do that. And again, I've said this before, but I want to reiterate that I also believe that anyone who goes to YouTube and watches readers such as myself or other readers on YouTube, you're still actually tapping into your own intuitive knowing. And that's the reason that general readings actually work, is because for one, I do believe that energetically it's a very fluid way for the universe to interact with us and send us messages. So, you know, for example, we can be prompted in just some little voice or just urge that's like, you know, I just want to go on YouTube right now and check if, you know, readings. And you just happen to go to one person's reading, and maybe you watch your moon sign and you normally watch your sun sign. So like, you know, whatever, it doesn't matter. You're being guided along the way to see the reading that was really meant for you. And even when you're watching it, then you also are still picking and choosing the parts that resonate and the parts that don't. I always get better, more specific, and even greater detailed readings for people that I do individual readings for. It's always harder to read for ourselves than it is for someone else because of our planetary mind jumping in and wanting to say, no, that's not it, or even just not seeing things. Our planetary mind does get in the way. So ultimately, my goal is to create and develop and launch different intuitive tools. These cards are just a stepping stone. I've already gone through the entire process of developing a really kick-ass app for tarot, and I'm going to use Lenormand in it, and really my plan eventually would be possibly to do a lot of different kinds of intuitive tools, Oracle cards or whatever, all in this app. I have a way of delivering and helping people create their own messages in that app that's not like any other app out there. I'm super excited about it, but I had to completely shelve the project because I got to a certain point where it was developed and then I couldn't go any further without more money. And I was doing a channeling session with a very close friend of mine where we go in and we channel my higher self, and I'll ask the questions and then she receives the message from her. And again, I'm using her as a tool to kind of bypass my planetary mind that will block those messages from coming into me, which sometimes I do get messages and sometimes I feel like I'm not sure, you know, if I'm getting the right messages. Well, anyway, I asked, you know, how will I get the money to develop this app? And my higher self, whose name is Aria, that's why I go by that name when I'm reading, Aria says, well, you'll do it through some kind of crowdfunding. And I said, okay, so should I launch a Kickstarter, you know, to develop the app with the goal of raising money to develop the app? And she said, no, you'll come up with some other project that will be some other creative project that will raise the money for your app. And then I was like, oh, I wonder what that'll be. And then she goes, no, just stop. you're not going to like get there by trying to get there. If you try to think of a way to come up with this creative project, then it won't come to you like that. It'll just come to you. And the only hint she would give me was that I'll really enjoy doing it, and it utilizes my creative skills and abilities. And so I shelved that piece of information so completely that I had 100% forgotten about it. I didn't even think of it. So then I suddenly got this idea for these cards, and I was so excited about it, and I just dove into it, as you might know if you've been following me and didn't hear from me for a month. And so just completed that, and it wasn't until I was all the way finished with it that I was really starting to think, I think these cards have the potential to do really well. That's what, it hit me. I was like, I could use this to develop the app. I could raise the money for my own app this way. And even then I didn't remember what I had been told by my higher self in that session until later. And it really blew me away because it came true, and it came true exactly the way she said it would, that I wouldn't be like searching for it, that it would just come to me. And I have to say that along the way, the entire process has truly been about learning to surrender my control over things and just going with the flow, creating and manifesting things with the energy of the archetypes of the tarot. Tell us a lot about how to do that, with the magician is the manifester, but the fool takes the leap. And then we have the empress that just attracts things to her. But then we have the emperor that just goes out and gets things done. We have the high priestess, that's our higher knowing that guides us along the way, and so forth. That's the journey of the fool through the major arcana. So that's really what this has been about. And when I'm going to continue to do readings on a weekly basis, because partly just as a gift to everybody who's following me already, and then I want to build a larger audience so that when I'm able to launch the app, we have a place to tell people about it. But in light of all of that, first of all, every one of you, I know you have your own journeys. You come to my channel for different reasons. I do think from the feedback I get that most people are on kind of like some kind of divine love journey, awakening process, where you really realize that you're here on the planet for doing something extraordinary. And something extraordinary might just be how you live your life, that you live your life with so much light and love, and you bring in like a higher way of living and being. But along the way, I think we all kind of have this urge and this desire to create and make something that's above and beyond where everybody's kind of been at on this planet for so long. We really are trying to, we're not just trying to, we really are creating the higher dimensional living, which is where we're all headed. We're all headed into a higher frequency, where we're tuned into, our consciousness is tuned into our true divinity and the power of who we are as human beings, what we can really do and what we can really accomplish. Now, having said all of that, this introduction got quite long. I'm going to try to keep your readings short this week. They're going to be just a quick look at the week ahead. Thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing, sharing my channel with others. And before I forget, the final thing is that my Kickstarter is doing really well. I'm at 70% funded, and I really would like to do about twice that many. If you are interested in these cards at all, please consider backing it. Share it with others if you know anybody else who might. And again, think about the fact that these cards are actually going to help bring in something else even bigger. So this is seed money to print a larger printing, which then will help me develop and publish the app. All right, so because of that, I'm going to have a special gift. Anybody who backs my campaign, who's a viewer of my YouTube channel, go ahead and you can just select the $66 package, which is the Oracle Trio of the 3 decks, and I will throw in for you the 10 planetary influencers, which is a $22 value, if you just message me back, and that way I'll make sure that you get the extra bonus without having to pay the next package up, which includes it. So just wanted to give you guys that, just my special gift to you for backing my campaign. Again, share this with others if you are so inclined, and we will talk to you soon. Stay tuned right now for your reading by your sign in the zodiac. Hello Leo, so let's get right into your reading here. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle the cards a few times. Of course, this is my Oracle deck. You've heard me talking about it already. This is the first two of these the picturesque, which is traditional Lenormand, plus the nuance, 36 more cards, which gives us enough expanded meanings that really help anyone be able to use the Lenormand kind of system of divination without necessarily having to look every single thing up in a book. There's over 600 two-card pairs in Lenormand that one has to learn, which is what makes the system kind of daunting. Even for me, I'm still a beginner at it, so this deck does make it a little bit easier. All right, let's go ahead and see what we have. We're going to take a look at your week ahead, and this is the center card. It's the main theme of everything that's here. So we've got something coming up for you that you're going to have the successful completion of something, and I feel like you've really been working toward it for a long time. When we see somebody doing dog sledding, for one, there's a lot of work they put into to even be able to race, which is all about the training of the dogs and the, you know, the constant preparation for the big race, and then they, you know, go on the race, and then the idea behind this card is being at the head of the pack. And so in order to get there, you know, you really had to persist. You had to have a will to win. So there's something this week coming up here that is, I feel like you're being honored too. Like there's a lot of honor here to you, saying good job. But at the same time, there's a little bit of a reminder, like don't give up just before the end. You're really close to the finish line here, and you will have a successful completion, but you do have to push it all the way through. Like don't give up yet. Okay, there has been some doubt and some problems, even some hesitation perhaps, or confusion for you. And the reason why is because there has been something in the whole situation that you haven't been able to see clearly, because there's been actual hiding. So the Mask card is about someone, you know, being either two-faced. It could be deliberately, it might not be deliberate. I think it's important to always realize that sometimes people are acting, you know, it's just they have whatever reasons they have for acting the way they are. It's not always because they're just trying to be a horrible person and make life difficult for you. Doesn't mean that it's not, but it, you know, it may not be deliberate, but regardless, it's important for you to know that there is something here in the situation that you do need to understand. You're not seeing the whole picture, and that's why you're having some kind of thoughts or problems, hesitation, doubt, confusion is coming up. There has been a misunderstanding, I think, between you and someone else that I feel like it's kind of like holding you back from this accomplishment and achievement in some way. It's important that that gets kind of like considered and dealt with in order to have this successful completion. And we do have a lot of movement here. We have the Archer and the Ship, and the Archer is the flip other card is the Rider, and the Rider is all about movement forward, messenger. It's about completing victories and, you know, goals and things like that. And the Archer, though, its nuance is that she has those goals and that aim. So a lot of aim and focus, and again, that idea of practice and a lot of skill to get to be good at what she does. But rather than just like going speedily toward her goal, like see her horse is standing there in the background. She's not on it right now. She uses the horse to get there to where she needs to be, but then she gets off the horse and she, you know, stalks her prey. She carefully takes aim, but then when she lets go with that arrow, it flies, it meets its goal, it meets its mark, and she really, like that aim, that focus, that purpose behind it. So to be honest, I really feel like what it's saying here is you've got this doubt. You may or may not get it all figured out. And in a sense, it doesn't matter. It's almost just good to understand. Okay, so I have some doubts and some confusion here because there's some things I'm not clearly seeing. It could even be that it's not about one person. It might just be something within a situation that you don't clearly see. That's fine. And so you just need to understand that, and then but still move forward. So do what it takes to still move forward. In spite of that, of course, be careful, you know, that you aren't going to have missteps. And that's actually where the Archer comes in, because she takes careful aim, but she stays on target. She is direct, quick, precise, and she is your go-to person. So if you have a go-to person right now that you need to talk to in order to help you through whatever this is, that might be a recommendation to, this could literally represent a person. And the Ship is about going places. It could just be about the progress of achieving the goal, but it also could literally be travel, that you maybe need to go see this person, or there will be some kind of travel involved. So let's take a look at a spirit animal for some kind of additional Insights or advice. This is from the third deck of cards. You can shuffle these right in, and I've used them that way as well, but I like to sometimes just pull them separately and see what comes up. We have the beaver. Okay, that really makes a lot of sense because I do feel this is a very project-oriented spread, and the beaver is about that just keeps on working, persistence paying off. I feel like that with the archer too. She is very careful, and it might be a long time until she actually catches her prey, but she doesn't give up. She keeps on, stalking that prey. The head of the pack guy, of course, doesn't give up either, but this is kind of more the mundane, that day-to-day grind, literally grinding, beaver grind away at logs. So anyway, so that's that grind. Sometimes you just have to do that to get through it, but it will pay off. You got to be determined. One aspect of the beaver card is that it is about things that work against you. So this I feel like is the situation over here too. You do have a situation that is working against you, but I think if you recognize that will clear up that situation and you'll be okay in the long run. I actually feel like I need to just pull another card here to see what. Just take the top one. You got a tornado. There's a storm brewing here. Something might end. In fact, actually, I feel like what it's saying is this situation here is going to end, but it could end. We have the clouds as a storm as well. It could be that it ends with a bit of a violent end, but it's kind of like it gets taken care of for you. The tornado is forces outside of our control that come in and tear something up and completely destroy it, obliterate it, take care of it, get rid of it. And I do feel like, that will kind of come in the end as a favor to you. It'll work out. You just kind of keep focused on your thing and doing what you're doing in order to succeed. So thanks again for watching my channel. And if you're interested in having a deck of these cards, go to my Kickstarter campaign, support me there. And if you want all 3 decks, choose that package and I will give you this. That's the $66 package, and I will give you the Planetary Influencers in addition. They're normally $22 each, or $77 if you buy all 4. But just for my viewers, you get to have these at the $66 price. Just make sure to message me after you bid or after you back the project, and just say, hey, I'm a viewer of yours, and then I will make sure that gets thrown in. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Thanks so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and sharing my channel with others, and we'll see you soon.